Students, welcome back to the online class of physics. This is your name, Miss. So we were learning about what, children? We were learning about work and energy. So in our previous class, we have learned till the power. We have learned about what is work, what is the scientific meaning of work, what is exactly the term work is used, what are the energies, what are the mechanical energy and potential energy, kinetic energy, and then we have learned about how the conservation of energy is done, right? Then we have even learned how to calculate the total energy. Then we have even in our previous class we have learned about power, right? We have learned till power. So in today's class we are going to learn about the you are getting energy, right? You are getting energy, yes. So how do we get energy? From where we are getting energy? To get the energy, what do we need? We need what? Sources. We need sources. So that means we are going to learn about sources of energy. In today's class, we are going to learn about sources of energy. So in our previous activities, we have learned that energy can be transferred. Energy can be transferred from one body to another body, right? We can transfer energy to one body to another. It can be in the form of any. It can be in the form of potential energy. It can be in the form of mechanical energy. It can be in the form of kinetic energy, or it can be in the form of power, right? As we have learned in our previous class, it can be transferred in the form of power, right? Example, we have observed the fall of coconut from the plant, okay, and potential energy of the coconut gets converted into kinetic energy. It gets stopped, right? So in this case, the sources of energy conservation is nothing but gravitation force. Okay, when the coconut is falling from the tree, when the coconut is falling here from the tree, is falling down to the ground, then that means what is happening here? This is the potential energy, right? Potential energy is now getting converted into kinetic energy, which this kinetic energy is in the form of nothing but the gravitation force. What it is? Gravitation force. It is nothing but gravitation force. So from this example, we also understood that energy is transformed. Transformation need a source, right? Which is responsible for the transformation. Without any source, the energy cannot be transferred. It needs some source here, right? So we'll learn sources of energy is one which can provide the adequate amount of energy in a convenient form over a long period of time. Okay, there is some source. That is, source is nothing but something which provides the energy for a long period of time. Okay, so what do you think is a good source of energy? Good source of energy may be understood based on the features like that does a large amount of work. It must be doing large amount of work. It must be doing large amount of work or unit mass of source. It must be cheap and also easily available. Okay, it must be cheap and it must also be easily available, right? And it must be easier to use. It should be very easy to use, and it should be easy to store also and to transport also, right? So these must be the features which should be uh, that of the good source of energy. Okay, and it must also be most economical, and it should not cause any pollution, or it should not cause any harm. It should cause no harm, and no pollution, and it should be economically also, safe, easy to purchase. Okay, so what are the good sources of good sources of energy? It should be having a large amount of work, that is per unit or volume. unit volume or unit mass of source should be available. It should be very cheap and easily available. It should be easy to use, to store and to transport. Okay, and it should cause no harm. It should have cause no pollution, and it should be economically good. Yes, it should be most economical. And these are the good features of the good sources of energy. So our next topic is, what do we use? We have already learned this topic in our previous class, that is in your 8th class, and I hope you will be able to tell with a clue. That is, what are the things called which we use, that is nothing but it is one of the source of energy, and it without which we will not be able to eat at home or anywhere, uh, without which we cannot move from one place to another. So what do you think is that? Yes, what it is? It is nothing but, it is nothing but fuel. I hope you remember now. We have learned in our previous class, that is in your 8th class, we have learned in detail about the fuel, right? So here also we will see how it is a source of energy. Already we have learned. I don't think it is required in detail. If you all don't remember, there is a video here in this about combustion, fuel and flame. In 8th class video it is. You can go and you can see there. Okay, to recollect, if you want to recollect, you don't remember, go to those videos of 8th class, and combustion, flame and fuel, you all can go and you can check there. You will be able to recollect the content. Okay children, so here what we are going to see, we see that we use LPG gases, right? We use LPG, we use kerosene, we use wood, we use petroleum, we use coal. All these things are nothing but these are fuels, right? So we use these things in our daily lives, and these are nothing but the sources of energy for doing all other works respectively. So these are the sources of energy, which is nothing but these are the sources of fuel. Okay, and we know that most of these fuels can be obtained from the earth's crust. Where are they obtained from? They are obtained from earth's crust. These fuels are known as what? Fossil fuels. What are they called as? They are called as fossil fuels, as they are obtained from the earth's crust, right? And how these fossil fuels are formed, that also we have learned in our previous class. These plants and other animals and all other living organisms, after their death, they got buried into the deeper layers of the soil. Then due to some natural phenomena, the soil got dumped up. Okay, all the soil formed the layers on it, and all these animals, plants and living organisms, they got deposited in the deeper layers of the earth, right? So what has happened, due to the absence of oxygen, high pressure, heat and action of bacteria, this organic matter got converted into fossils, right? Fossil fuel, right? So this we are using in today's. So what they say, like the things which we have to preserve, if you want to preserve some, or suppose you have waste materials, like you have um, this one, what do you say, fruits, vegetables and whatever organic things you have at your home which is waste, you just go and dump into the soil and just leave it for a few weeks or a month. Some different kind of it gets uh, deposited there, it gets breaked up, it gets into developed into different organic matter, which we can use for the plants, which I have already explained you in the previous classes of our 8th class, right? So like that only, these things will get deposited into the earth, and they have given, nature has given a god, a very good gift, which is nothing but fossil fuel, which we will use in today's life. We even know that the plants and animals grow using what? Using sunlight, right? So that sunlight is called as what? It is called as The energy which is coming from sunlight is called as solar energy. So this is one of your sources of energy, right? One of the sources is fuel and another sources is solar energy. So these fossil fuels cannot reproduce by any artificial method. They can be quickly replaced if once exhausted. So these are the non-exhaustible or non-renewable sources of energy. Okay, so fuels are the non-renewable sources of energy, that is they cannot be again replaced. Fine. So solar energy, coming to the renewable sources of energy, that is nothing but, that is, we know that sun is the main source of energy. We already have discussed about this. So fossil fuels are also formed due to the solar energy, yes, trapped in the fossils, right? So this you can say solar energy is comes under renewable sources of energy, okay, which I will be teaching in our next class in detail. Okay, so fuels, these fossil fuels come under non-renewable resources, and this comes under renewable resources of energy. Renewable sources of energy. So this comes under your renewable sources of energy, which I'll be explaining you in the next class. So try to go through the video and write the today's homework. You will have write the sources of energy, that is nothing but your fuel. About fuel you have to write. How you will write that, you know, write about the good sources of energy, what are the good sources of energy, and write about the fossil fuels. This is your today's homework. Okay, thank you for watching. Take care.